This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.
And yes, we got Ron Polonsky with us. We're here at Klingberg 2019 and with an absolutely gorgeous 1954 Corvette and in my favorite color, white. And tell me, Ron, what do you got? Tell me about this car?
Well, it was America's first sport car. Came out in 54, and they introduced some 53s as show cars. It was America's first fiberglass body car, sports car. It's a 6-cylinder. It's very, very old. 6-volt system showing its age.
Wow, 6-volt. Huh?
6-volt battery, yes. No power steering or power brakes. That wasn't even heard of yet on this model. Other than that, it's got the power glide, which I kind of like. Yeah. The panoramic windshield was a big fad. This set fads. All your 55 automobiles afterwards copied this design. The public loved it. It's about all I can say about it. White wall tires were the thing of the day.
Of course, wide white, right?
Yeah, wide whites. Yeah.
Now tell me, how long have you had this car?
We found this car in Hershey, Pennsylvania in 2003. It was 16 years ago. Yeah. And I kept it the way it is right now. I've done nothing major to it, little scratches now and then. That's normal because we drive it. And to have a lot of fun.
Now tell me, where do you call home, Ron?
I'm from Preston, Connecticut, and everybody says, where's that? Well, if you heard of Foxwoods Casino, that's right in my backyard.
Well, everyone knows where that is, right?
Everybody's been there.
Yeah. Have you come to Klingberg before?
Yes, I've been here to many, many shows. This won the Presidential Award a few years ago here.
Well, I have to commend you. The car is absolutely gorgeous. I would love to park this car right in my garage, I'll tell you that.
I don't blame you. Maybe I'll take you for a ride a little later if you're around.
Well, we want to thank you for having an interview with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Larry.
You were excellent.
Thank you.
John's car was beautiful, but unfortunately, while taping this event, our camera had a problem with audio, and we're going to have to make this show combined with a previous show, too, that we also did here at Klingberg, as we did that on Father's Day weekend. And let's hope in the future we don't run into that problem again. But, boy, let me tell you, this Corvette was absolutely gorgeous, as the cars that were here were just special, believe me. And yes, Wayne Carini will show up with this absolutely gorgeous Mustang GT 350. I mean, this car was gorgeous. I cannot believe the condition this car is in. It looks like you just drove it off the showroom floor. Boy, would I love to park this car in my garage. And boy, let me tell you, it was pretty. Of course, when it comes to race cars, you know it's a national, it just naturally appeals to us. And this 1949 Allard prototype was just a beautiful example. I mean, look at this car. It's hard to envision that the type of work they did back in that day. And believe me, this car caught our attention. As you could see, it was just gorgeous. Look at the details to this car. Something special, that ain't even the word for it. How about the detail in the compartment here with the dashboard? And look at this car. I mean, everywhere you look on this car is special, and I can't just get over, you know, what they did in the day. And of course, the appeal to the race cars continue as we ran into this Lancia. I mean, it looks like a rally car, and boy, let me tell you, this thing was just absolutely gorgeous. And yes, the number 16 Lancia was special, as you could see. I mean, just look at the detail in this car. And yes, the appeal to race cars continues as this beautiful Ferrari race car, part of Team Pilota, and boy, let me tell you, this car looks like it was brand new, and it just caught our attention. And wait till you see the motor in this car. I mean, this mid-engine car is really special. Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know how you work on that thing. You must have to hire some gremlins to get in there, because boy, there ain't a lot of room, but a lot of motor, as you could see. This Ferrari was special, and we're just so happy that they had bring these cars to Klingberg so we could get a chance to get a look at them. And of course, Champions Race for Charities says it all. And believe me, this car was special, in red, a Ferrari in red, as you can see, really looks gorgeous. And yes, it must have been our day as we came across this beautiful vintage Bentley old race car, or they used it as an event out in the West Coast. I mean, just look at the car. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm telling you, we really caught some luck here today, as of course our audio went down with the camera. We couldn't interview a lot of people. Boy, let me tell you, we certainly took some beautiful pictures of very special cars, and this Bentley vintage car was one of them. I mean, just look at the condition of this car.
And in 1934, Tom learned about Klingberg watching an episode of Chasing Classic Cars, in which Wayne helped present a night.
And yes, the Bentley was represented well at some clubs, as you could see. Yes, once again, we're honored to have the presence of George Dragon, and I'm going to tell you, George, every time I see you, there's a special car near you. And I know this car has got some history with you, and as usual, I know you're going to let us know exactly what's going on.
Well, thanks, Larry. I do try to bring a different car to every event, just to show people, you know, that there's lots of classic cars still out there, and this is a great event today here at the Klingberg show. Behind us is a 1932 Pierce Arrow V12 7-passenger touring car, originally built for the city of New York. It's got freestanding headlights. People know a Pierce Arrow by the headlights that were in the fenders, but it was illegal to drive a Pierce Arrow with the headlights in the fenders in New York back for a while, back in the 20s and early 30s. This is a V12, one of two built, and it's the only one known to exist.
Wow, this is a one of two built. But the car, I mean, the colors and everything are gorgeous.
Yes, as far as we know, they're original colors. It was restored some time ago, but it was a very original car, so it was correctly done.
Now, this car has some history with Lou Biondi, too?
Yes, they're honoring Lou Biondi, who was an old-time collector here from Connecticut. As a matter of fact, the field here is the Lou Biondi field where we have the antique car show every year. And he was a collector for many years. He started collecting cars in 1948, passed away 5 years ago. So they're honoring him today as a feature collector. And this is the newest antique car that he owned. And on the other side is one of the oldest cars that he owned.
Let me tell you, when I used to come here and see his Corbins, my mouth used to just drop because you never see those cars.
Right, Corbins were built right here in New Britain, and he had two, a 1907 and a 1914.
Yeah. And also, George, I understand you kind of got a new location.
We do. You've been to our old location when we recently moved to Orange, Connecticut. New big 66,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
It's a showroom and restoration all under one roof.
Under one roof?
Yes, yeah. So we do everything right in one building now.
Wow. Well, there's plus and minus with that. Now you got to look at your brother every day.
There's no place for me to hide, but no, we have a lot of room to spread out now, and our guys are we have 22 employees and are very happy with all the new space that they have.
Well, let me tell you, I know your work is spot on, and I expect nothing but great things, and me and Billy are going to have to take a ride out and do a show out there on your new place.
Please do. You're welcome anytime.
Very good. I don't want to tie you up because I know you got many friends here you want to say hello to, but I got to commend you. George, it's a pleasure always to see you naturally, but your cars are special.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for everything. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Very good, George. You're ready. And yes, we got the famous Herb Singe with his beautiful collection. And in 1906, Merkel, let me tell you, this bike got a little history. Tell me, and you know it.
Yeah. First of all, it's infamous Herb Singe, not famous Herb Singe. I'm from New Jersey, but I'm not a neighbor of Tony Soprano. 1906, Milwaukee Merkel. Joseph Merkel was a bicycle manufacturer and assembler. He had a bicycle shop in Milwaukee. In 1899, he built purported to be the first motorized vehicle in Wisconsin. It was a motorized single-cylinder tricycle. They were very popular back then. 2 wheels in the back with a motor between, a little rear end and 1 wheel in the front. You drive around. They had tricycle races, very popular for a year or two in both America and Europe, from 1897 in Europe and about 1899 in America to about 1901. A lot of car companies got started with tricycles. Lozier, which is one of over there, Pierce Arrow, a lot of them started building tricycles and then went on to other things, including Merkel. The next year in 1900, he built his first two-wheeler, motorized two-wheeler. Some people call it a bicycle with a motor, but it really was a motorcycle, because every motorcycle that was ever made throughout the world until 1914 was all pedal start. Kickstart came in 1914. I have a lot of motorcycles up to 1915. I love pedal start motorcycles, and I have one kickstart motorcycle, 1915 Excelsior. This Merkel I bought this 1906 Merkel about a little over 30 years ago by a man named Bud Eakins. Now, you may not know who Bud Eakins was, but he happened to be Steve McQueen's best friend. But everyone who's watching the show has seen Bud Eakins, because if you watch The Great Escape, he's the guy that takes the bike over the jump, over the fence. And if you ever watched the movie Bullet, he's the guy driving the green Mustang. Unless you can see Steve McQueen's face very clearly in the shot, he's the one driving the green Mustang, which beat out the Charger when the Charger got destroyed, whatever. And by the way, that Mustang just serviced last year after it was owned by the same family for many years and just used a regular vehicle.
Now, tell me, these Merkel, I mean, they're very famous.
Well, yeah, the Merkel company, Joe Merkel built a real quality motorcycle. And up through 1908, when he sold out, he was the largest manufacturer of motorcycles in Milwaukee, not the other company called Harley Davidson, which you see next to it. He was larger. Harley Davidson, they say they started in 1903, and they did start building their building motors in the back in a little 10 by 12 shed in the back of one of their houses, but they really never built a motorcycle, really, probably 1905. They say they have a 1903, but anyway, really 1905 was the first year. Merkel was already well into production by then, and in fact, Bill Harley and the Davidson brothers learned a lot and hung with Joseph Merkel, and they learned a lot from him. So Merkel did very well. And in 1908, he was approached by the Light Company, the Light Foundry of Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and they actually bought out the Merkel Company and moved the Merkel motorcycle manufacturing division or whatever company down to Pottstown, Pennsylvania, where it became Merkel Light. And a year or two later, they were sponsoring a couple of racers, factory racers.
Flying Merkel.
Yes. You're good at stealing the punchlines, aren't you? So they called the boys of the team the Flying Merkels, because the flying was very popular. The Thomas Flyers and the Wright brothers. Flying was the new rage, even newer, even more technologically advanced than motorcycles or cars. And so they called themselves Flying Merkels, and so that was so popular that in 1911 they called the Merkel brand, instead of Merkel Light, they made it Flying Merkles, and they were very quality motorcycles. Then right around that time, 1911 or 12, a company by the name of the Miami Motorcycle Company, Middletown, Ohio, they bought the Flying Merkle brand and Merkle Light motorcycles and moved them from Pottstown to Middletown, Ohio, where they've been building race cycles, which weren't very good motorcycles. They stopped building race cycles, continued building Flying Merkles until World War I, around 1915 or so. Instead, they stopped motorcycle production to do war work, and after the war, they never continued motorcycle production, and that was the end of the Flying Merkles.
Well, I'll tell you, you have to be very happy owning this bike because they are very rare, let me tell you. And as usual, Herb, you're always right on your game. I have to tell you, when it comes to history, boy, you know what it is.
Yeah, it's fun, and I actually have 2 Milwaukee Merkles, so I'm twice blessed. The other one, not quite as nice as this, but they're both real, original bikes. I like bikes that were original frame, original. I have a couple that, 1 or 2 that are not, but I tell everybody it is, but we try to have the real original 110, in this case, 113-year-old motorcycle, and it's basically in as-found condition. And I bought it from Bud Eakins, along with 8 other motorcycles. And Bud was a great guy. He was a wonderful Triumph motorcycle racer in the 50s and 60s, and he was a great Hollywood stuntman and transportation. He furnished old cars and motorcycles to the Hollywood crowd.
Boy, you know your history.
Anyway, I have 2 Milwaukee Merkles. I have a light, which is rarer than Milwaukee Merkles. I have 2 Merkle lights, but guess what? I don't have a Flying Merkle. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Can't tell.
I want to thank you. Herb, you're always excellent. You know that. We look forward to seeing you here every year.
Well, we tried. It's a wonderful event.
You
Thanks
too.
to Mark Johnson.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Very good.
Take care.
Very good. You're right on your game. Yes, we got George Vassas with this beautiful 1922, is it?
22.
Studebaker, which I have never seen one. George, this car is beautiful. Tell me about it.
Well, thank you. It's one of about 2, maybe 3 known to exist. Studebaker built a lot of cars in 22, but most of these are gone, so there's not too many left. I bought it about 6 years ago. It was in pretty good shape, but I wanted it to be more reliable, so I took it all apart and rebuilt it all. So
the motor in this car is kind of special, right?
Well, Studebaker made 3 sizes of motors. They made what's called a Big 6, and then they had a Special 6, and then the smallest one was a Light 6. This is a Special 6, 289 cubic inches.
Wow. That's a big motor.
So, well, it's a Big 6, yeah, or it's a good size 6 anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a fun car to.
Now, where do you call home, George?
I'm from Westfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah, you're not far away.
No, it's less than an hour or so to get down.
This is the first time you've been to Klingberg?
No, I was here last year too.
Oh, yeah.
So I liked it so much we came back this year.
Great show, I tell you.
Yep. Yep.
Go to many over the year?
I go to a couple different shows. I like Greenwich, go to the Hemmings show, and I was lucky enough to have a car out of Pebble Beach 2 years ago. So,
wow, your life is good.
Well, I'm a car guy, and I'm retired, so I have time to spend on all that stuff now.
Oh yeah, I like to say the collector car world is alive and well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure you're going to do very well with this car today. But I have to commend you. The car is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the interview, and good luck today.
Okay.
Thanks, George.
Thanks so much.
You are great. Okay, Billy. Yes, when you come to Klingberg, you never know what you're going to see. And yes, George's Studebaker was very special. As I travel around to different shows, you just don't see that this kind of a car, especially the quality of the work done too. But Studebakers were very good cars, and they're well represented when it comes to classic cars. Yes, we have Charles and Kathy Hand with this beautiful 1931 Chrysler Imperial. I have never seen one of these cars. You got to tell me, Charles, about this car.
We've had it since 1990. When we got it, it was unrestored. We drove it unrestored for about 9-10 years. I think we took it off the road in the late 90s, 99, and did a complete restoration, put it back on the road in 2001, and we enjoyed it immensely. This is one of our favorite car shows here in Connecticut. We do Stowe, Vermont. We do Beverly, Mass. We enjoy it immensely.
Now tell me, where do you call home, Charles?
Essex, Connecticut.
Oh, yeah, good. Connecticut guy, yeah?
I'm a Connecticut guy, yes.
Now, who did the restoration of this car?
It was done by Gary Stone in Pollock, Vermont,
Okay.
and the interior was done in Springfield, Vermont, Hurd Upholstery. And the mechanical, I did all the assembly, but I didn't do the paint work and I didn't do the upholstery.
I'll tell you, the car is gorgeous, you know? Now tell me.
Interesting history of how we got the car. The car was in Hemmings, and I ended up trading 3 cars. I had a 32 Packard, 52 MGTD, and then the guy said, "Oh, you got to keep sweetening the pie," and I threw in my wife's Mercedes to get this.
Wow. Now tell me, Kathy, do you ever drive this car?
No.
No? You're not allowed, huh?
Probably wouldn't know how.
Yeah. Even though you gave up your cars, right?
I know.
Surprisingly, it's very agile. She could drive it.
I bet it is. I could tell the work that was done in this car is very special.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
And what kind of motor is in this car?
It has a 135 horsepower straight 8.
Straight 8.
Straight 8.
Okay. Now, is it a flathead?
Flathead straight 8.
I bet you could put a coffee on the top of that motor and won't even shimmer.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They run like a clock. Yes.
Yeah,
And it has hydraulic brakes. This was from the factory. Chrysler was one of the first to come out with hydraulic brakes.
Really?
They had hydraulic brakes in 1927, way ahead of their time.
Wow, ahead of their time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I know you're going to do very well here today, but I have to commend you. Car is absolutely gorgeous. I love the color schemes, the interior. I mean, wow, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I know you're going to do well. Thank you for your interview, and Kathy, you're a lucky lady.
Thank you.
With a good man and car. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Of course, motorcycles, antiques are my thing also, and this Merkel was special, let me tell you. Look at the Harley right next to it. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I have to tell you, as we near the conclusion of the show today, I just can't get myself away from that Allard prototype. Look at the cockpit in this car. I mean, this car was special. Yeah, Allard J2 prototype. And boy, let me tell you, I would just love to park this car in my garage, as it was powered by a flathead Ford with the special Auburn heads, as you could, with 3 carburetors, as you could see, very special. Please tune in again next week to Racing Action Today, as we leave you today at Klingberg. As usual, just an excellent event, and some of the cars we've seen today were just a great example of what you'll find here.
And so the practical thing to do was to find somebody that could really use.
This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.